Alright, so I'm going to show you what raiding is like in Palworld. We're logging into Ashley Ketchup, 324 days played, and this is the raid base. Thank you to the YouTube channel Palworld Raids for showing me this location. And this is the stash of items that you need to build inside of the base. This is the guild stash that has a universal inventory. No matter what base you're at, you'll always have what's inside of here stored inside of here. Made it super useful. This is the largest storage container in the game at the moment, with the material to use to build the altars to summon the raid bosses. Those things around the edges are pal pods, so that the pals can rest in them and recover their HP if they get downed. And this is Faybreak. I just wanted to show you how big this place is that was added in the most recent update. This is the volcano region that has existed since the game came out, and this is Sakurajima, the first zone added. So just look at the size of Faybreak. It's the volcano plus Sakurajima and then some, and that doesn't even account for its verticality. It's like super tall. Anyway, we're gonna come back here and grab some food to boost the defense of our raid army, and we're also gonna grab one of the attack food to boost up our own attack power. We're just gonna be doing the really easy raids, the first raids that we're adding, so really even these measures aren't needed, but I'm just getting myself into the routine of checking all the boxes. Now we're gonna grab the raid slabs. These are what you put into the altar to summon the boss. We're going to do a couple of the easiest ones. Still have not done a Blazamut Ryu. That's kind of the next tier up. I think I could do him with my current raid army, but right now I just stuck to the easier raids that were introduced first. That's how you make the raid slabs right there. You just kind of chuck them into one of those assembly machines, get your Anubis to work on them. And now I think I'm going to just kind of tour my base setup. These are my breeding bases. They just recently introduced the global PAL box, so you can put a PAL into a global PAL box and have it across all of your saves. So you can make a brand new game and immediately drop in max work speed, max souls, max stars, PALs instantly. Which I actually find is awesome because you can focus your playthrough more on the adventure part instead of the breeding, which I've gotten very sick of. As you can see, those breeding bases has made me very annoyed at breeding, but I'm grabbing the slabs out here to put into the altars so that we can summon the bosses. And my breeding army that I have chosen for this raid is Jormuntide Ignis. Thank you so much to the PAL Professor for putting out so much good content for this game, really inspiring me to push all the way into breeding for a raid army because it wasn't very quick or easy, but we finally managed to make it. This is the Jormuntide raid army that I have bred. Here in a second I'm going to put on the ability glasses so you can see all their IVs. But yeah, max stars, and they have about 33 into their souls. I think they can go up to 60 for just the damage and the HP, like their durability stats. So these Jormuntide have quite a way to go. They are not perfect still. And when I put on the ability glasses, you see some of them are missing 100 IVs out of 100. They're really close to perfect, like 98, 95. I had to just settle. I was getting too annoyed at the breeding process to get all of them 100 out of 100. But I also started naming them to make it easier on me, but then that also failed. My system was not great, so that's what they're doing. And then you can see these furnaces around. This is something I tried to do where I wanted to spread them out. A lot of the raid content creators are saying that like the biggest challenge in the high level raids is when you have all your dudes clumped up. So I figured if I'm using Jormuntide Ignis, I can put furnaces all around, and they're going to run to each of the furnaces. which will effectively perfectly spread them out. As you can see, they're all running to the furnaces. And we're going to slap in the very first raid fragment here. Now this, sorry, raid slab. This is the first one that was introduced. This one is stupidly easy now. This one has been power crept to oblivion, so this one is not a challenge. This is just what raids are. Boom. The very first level 30 Bellanoir. And my raid army says, okay, you're a druid. Yeah, not even a full cycle. And it's down. You get the items from it added to your inventory directly. And now I'm trying to desperately try to get them to stop smelting. Because at this point I feel like they're in place. All of them are kind of standing next to a furnace. At least that's what I thought, but they really, really quickly jostled themselves and kind of like moved themselves back into the center. But me not being familiar with like raiding quickly, I'm like setting up my next raid altar very slowly. But I'm going to get a lot better at this when I practice. I really haven't done much of these so far. But so far the furnaces around the base seem to be pretty good. Of course, we didn't really need to be that spread out for that fight. That boss was going to die instantly, just like this is. This is the same exact one. Since we can kill it in a couple seconds, we're just throwing another one in. I didn't get close enough to activate the altar. This can happen sometimes where the entry options just do not pop up for me whenever I get close, so I end up using attacks. I also need to move my attack that charges Frostallion off of my left trigger, because you'll see in the later raids I keep using it and it pretty much just charges you all the way across the map, so it disrupts my aiming big time. And it is on the button that would normally be used to aim. So yeah, it can be really, really annoying, as you'll see. So now we're going to take it one step up. We're going to summon the Bellanoir Libero. This is the regular Bellanoir Libero. There's like regular and ultra versions of some of these raids. But this is a different element Bellanoir. So it should fight a little bit differently. And it has a second phase, is the big change here. I'm like losing my mind over like what to do. I don't know what to do. I'm like, they're all clumped up. Let me get them back in position. Try to turn on kindling for a second on them. Then they should run to the furnaces. Then I'll just switch kindling off. This is my master plan. I actually don't think it's mattering that much. And it certainly doesn't matter when the boss isn't very difficult. But you'll kind of see the difficulty jump between the first Bellanoir and the second. I really like the emergence and how big they are. It's very imposing. She gets her move off very quickly, and you'll see me charging. That's the charging skill right there. But yeah, they're laying into very effectively. Stun. The big light burst underneath of her is a move called Holy Burst, and it is the single strongest move in the game against larger pals. So one of the big steps to getting getting a raid army and breeding one is to find Holy Burst and replicate it with the skill fruit plantations. Plant a ton of them. You can mass produce Holy Burst, so you can feed them to. So you see, we actually had one of the Jormuntide die here, and I'm trying to get my Jet Dragon to rescue it, but it's not working very well. So I end up having to just kind of put it back into the box. I think it ended up getting rescued by one of the other Jormuntide or something like that. But as you can see, the Jormuntide in a giant ball, ready to be obliterated by an AoE attack. So I'm like, looking around at the POW pods and the furnaces like, what is this even worth it? And we're gonna do another Bellanoir Libero here, and we're getting slabs for the Bellanoir Libero Ultra raid by doing these encounters. Excuse me. I think we're also getting skill fruit, or not skill fruit, but IV boosting elixirs so that we can finish up making all of these Jormuntide 100 out of 100 IVs. And that'll just make them a tiny bit stronger. Bellanoir Libero number 2. She puts her head down, makes it a little bit tougher to get headshots. All the Jormuntide are in like a firing squad. Look at the Holy Burst, and just look at the damage of the Holy Burst compared to everything else. It's ridiculous. And we, again, look how far that skill takes us. We accidentally hit it. I use my Holy Burst on my Frostallion. And then I freeze her. I'm not sure if freezing her when she's knocked like that was good. I don't think it was. I think I ended up reducing the time of her stun. But here's her second phase where she heals and gains a different element. I did not lose a Jormuntide on that one. You can see they're kind of like victory eating. Just all running to the food thing. So at this point I'm like, okay, let's see if the spreading out thing really works. I have the muscle memory. We're just going to go down the line. We're going to give it a couple seconds. And I'm actually just going to let them stay there instead of turning it off. I'm going to build the next Great Altar. This time we're going to do the Bellanoir Libero Ultra version. This is the one that has been dropping from these fights. Constantly misclicking, but you can see the Jormuntide spread out. And now I'm trying to desperately turn off their kindling before they finish smelting all the bars. Because obviously if they all finish their jobs, then they're just going to start wandering around. But look how quickly they start wandering around after I turned all those things off. Like, I thought they'd stay on the edge for at least a second, but they like sprint towards the center. It's weird. Bellanoir Libero Ultra. Let's do it. We did not get a crit with our rocket launcher, sadly. I really am not a stickler for headshots. I fire the arrow for max DPS over time because I can't line up the critical hit. But look at the HP bar. I mean, wait. I misclicked again. Travel halfway across the screen. But yeah, after the initial burst of damage, it slows down. Like, this chick's tanky. She's only level 50. All my dudes are level 60. So they're getting a massive bonus damage from how much higher level they are than she is. And still, it's still just slow. So yeah, this fight would have been very difficult when the max level was level 50 or 55, I can imagine. But there's still a huge room for improvement on all of my Jormuntide, so we're going to get the speed of this fight down to very similar to her non-ultra version currently, I imagine. Second time that we misclick. Now we're running out of stamina because every time we do that move, it takes extra stamina. So we're actually going to fall here. I end up not having enough stamina to use Holy Burst. But then I kind of realized that being down here makes it really easy to get headshots when she does this. So I'm like, okay, maybe be another round for her. Ain't so bad. I launched my Holy Burst. Get back to the area with one Jormuntide down. 14 still fighting. The rest of them are hungry, so the damage is nerfed a little bit. I didn't realize she tracks you so effectively with that move. Maybe it's only her, but now she's going into her second form, or her second phase, gaining the ice attribute, and even more HP. As you can see, she does not go down super quick. That's the big reason why I didn't try the Bellanoir Ryu fight. That is the next step up from Bellanoir. I'm not sure if the base Bellanoir Ryu is easier or harder than Bellanoir Libero Ultra, because I've never fought it. But I didn't want to fight it for the very first time here and get wiped. But we're going to end up having a couple Jormuntide go down. We end up taking about 3 minutes out of the 10 minutes on the timer to kill Bellanoir Libero. So not bad. Still a lot of room to improve with the Drunken Tide, but yeah, this is what Palworld rating is. I'm really excited to see what this game adds before it launches. Thanks for watching. Peace.